Hey y'all, and welcome to today's video. I am actually vlogging today, and as we were going about our school day and I was looking at some of our things, I was thinking about some things that have worked really well for us this year, some things that we've changed, and even thinking about some things that I want to do in our next school year. And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, you know what, let's sit down and chat about how things are going for us, do a little mid-year update, talk about the curriculum we're using and how things are going. If you're new, we use a lot of BJU Press, so you're going to hear me talk a good bit about that. And then there's a few other things that we use as well, and I'll share all about that with you. One of the first things I wanted to talk about was BJU online courses versus the teacher-led or parent-led courses, having it taught the two different ways. More than ever this year, I have seen how it really depends on your individual child's learning style and their needs, which is going to work best. I have children, here in our family, my children, that online courses works great for some and not so much for others. It really depends on the child's learning style. I've also noticed that the older my children get, the more online courses and instruction that we can incorporate and it serve us well. And I've also come to realize that balancing it between some online courses and some that are not also seems to work better for us. BJU, I love every subject from BJU Press, but if you try to do every subject all online every single day, it can be a lot. It can be very time consuming and it can be a lot to take in. And honestly, the attention span of my children gets lost if we try to do that. But finding the balance, I think, is what has worked best for us, as well as figuring out what works best for your child's needs, because that's what we want to do in homeschooling, is serve our family and serve our child's needs the best we can, tailoring an education to them like they can't get anywhere else. Now, I've seen that more than ever this year when it comes to online courses versus parent-led courses, is just what works best for the individual child, knowing the learning style of the individual child, because both are fantastic options and both work beautifully when it fits in to what the child needs. I also get asked pretty often when I talk about homeschooling, about using BJU and about using the parent-led courses, if you need the teacher books. Let me interrupt right here because there's something that I wanted to add, and I think, talking about the teacher books, this is a great place to put this in. If you're new to BJU Press, it is set up so it can be taught in a classroom setting, or it can be taught, as we can use it as homeschool parents. And so when you're going through the lessons, you may notice some things that it sounds like it's being taught to a classroom, and that's why, because it can be. And that's one of the reasons why I think this curriculum works really well for us, is because I like to say that we're eclectic, traditional. I like the idea of traditional learning and traditional school, but I want to make sure it serves us well. I want to make sure we're incorporating God's word into it. And I also say we're a little eclectic because I'm not afraid to try new things or do things a different way. And so because of that, I think that's one reason why I enjoy this curriculum so much, is it does set it up a little bit traditional, but it also incorporates, God's word. Like I'm looking right now at the front of this English book, and one of the first things that is listed as a goal is to promote the understanding that God created language and uses written language, the Bible, to communicate His truth and love. And I love that. My thought with that is, yes, I love having the teacher books. I do not use them every single day across every single subject, just when I need it. But when I need it, I love having it. Could you get by without it just having the workbooks? Yes, especially for some of the younger subjects that are perhaps, I'm going to say a little easier to teach, but maybe that's how we'll put it. But then again, I know, when we did phonics last year, y'all, I don't know what I would have done without the teacher book. It lays things out beautifully and helps you teach the child in a way that they understand, a way that makes things clear. Maybe you're like, I just don't know what to say to get the child to understand what I'm trying to get across, even on some of those simpler topics. And the teacher book lays it out. It lays it out for you. And that's why I love having it. I do grab for the teacher book more times for certain subjects like English, the phonics, Easton's math, or the higher math. So there are some subjects that I tend to grab the teacher book for more than others. For example, like with handwriting, I don't use the teacher book as often, especially now that I've kind of gotten to a place where I understand BJU's approach to handwriting. I don't use it as much, but then there are others that I grab for almost every single day. Could you do it without the teacher book? You could, but if you can, it makes such a difference. It lays out, let me just show you. It has word for word what you can say. In the blue is what you would say, and in the red would be their answer. It gives you their work pages, so what they're working on, and shows you the answers to it. I mean, it lays it out so beautifully. And especially if you're the kind of teacher, parent, mama that likes to have something that tells you this is what you can say. You don't have to come up with your own script. You don't have to try to explain it when words are hard to find. It tells you. And do I follow it word for word all the time? No. But it is nice to have. And that's another thing is we've learned with BJU that it has everything for you. Everything you could possibly need down to a script for teaching. But you can take and use as much or as little as you want. So for example, maybe we have the work text, but we also have a review book. Do we do review pages every day? No. But if we're struggling on a topic and need some extra work, it's there. If I'm teaching something that I'm pretty confident in being able to explain it to my child, then I can do that. If it's something that perhaps maybe my words aren't coming across right, or it's just one of those days where I really want something that says, hey, just ask them these questions. Say it this way. I have it. And then if I don't want to use it, I don't have to. It's nice to have a curriculum, and I've enjoyed having a curriculum that gives me everything, and then I can take from it and use what I want to or what we need. Make the curriculum work for you, y'all. That I don't care what curriculum you're using. It should be there to serve you and to serve your family, not you serve the curriculum. Y'all, in BJU, it is beautiful. Like, the artwork, the colors, this is stunning. Stunning. Let me just show you some in this reader as well. Like, it is beautiful. And it draws you in. We've had curriculum before that was very black and white, and while it worked, I find my kids much more enthusiastic about beautiful things. They get excited about the beautiful things. Here's another example of making it work for us and using what we need. So, like, for example, the readers, wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Do we do the work pages every single day with a reader? No. Sometimes we just read out of the readers. Like, we just pick it up and we read one of the stories. Maybe we do the pages that come with it. Maybe we don't. Just the readers are a great tool. I've said this before. I've talked to y'all about their phonics program before, but I have to say it again because it worked so well for us. The phonics one, and doing it in conjunction with the reading, using their phonics characters, using my teacher book, and teaching reading like that book was guiding me to teach my child, helping me. It was guiding me to guide my child. Fantastic program for learning to read. Their BJU's phonics. Highly recommend. I told y'all I love the spelling. It's something that we can add into our day without it taking up a lot of time. It's broken up into lists, and we do a part of the work each day throughout the week. At the end of the week, if you want to do a spelling test, you can. If you don't have to. At least in my state, I'm not required to test. And so, you know, this is something that we can add to our day that doesn't take up a lot of time, but it still gets us spelling curriculum, which is something I wanted. I wanted to do a spelling curriculum and have it as a dedicated subject, but I didn't want to spend a ton of time on it every single day. The same thing with handwriting. I wanted a handwriting curriculum, but I didn't want something that we had to spend a ton of time on. And this was an answer to that. And I also like, so talking about handwriting, I like that BJU teaches a pre-cursive style handwriting. I have seen already how that can help us transition into cursive so much easier with the way it teaches the letters in the earlier ages. The way that it's teaching the child to write the letters, even in print or manuscript, is a way that when they transition to cursive, they'll be able to start connecting their letters easily. This is handwriting 2. I saw it in handwriting 1. Handwriting 1 was the first handwriting curriculum that we used, and I saw it there at the very basic. Explain the way that they wanted the child to write the letters in a way that now we can move into cursive easier. Maybe that makes sense. I used to be under the impression of, you know, everybody's handwriting's different. If you write a letter this way or that way, as long as it's legible, you know, does it really matter? Your handwriting's your handwriting. But thinking about it long term, especially wanting to teach cursive, my child's handwriting is still going to be their handwriting. There are some things that they're just going to do their way, and I'm okay with that. But having this general idea of a way to write the letter so that it makes it easier for them in the long run when they want to learn to write cursive, I can see how that's beneficial. And BJU teaches handwriting in a way that we can transition into cursive easily. Can I just show you this? Like, again, talking about how just gorgeous this curriculum is. This is one of my favorite covers, and I think it's the vibrancy of the colors, and I don't know. I'm always drawn to this math book every time it gets pulled out. Every day when we're looking at it, it's like, man, that's gorgeous. Something else that we have been using is reading eggs. Reading eggs in Mathseeds when we run errands, it's grocery day, and having something, it's an app, and so something the kids can do wherever we're at, on the way to the grocery store or wherever, they can do it on their own, and it's fun. It's something a little different, you know, but they're learning, and I've seen them benefiting from using it. I see the knowledge that they're retaining from it. It's reading eggs and Mathseeds. For different ages, the names change just a little bit, but that's what it is. And it's working good for us. It's something a little different, a day of the week that we can do something different, something they can do on their own on a day that I'm busier, and it's fun. It is a subscription, so I pay for it every month, but it's worth it to us. We enjoy it. They're benefiting from it, and it helps me out on those busier days. Y'all, I told you, I'm already thinking about next school year. That's what we do, don't we? We're always thinking about it because it's fun and it's exciting. I love teaching my children. I love being able to tailor their education to their needs and to what works best for them. And so it's really fun for me to think about it. It's fun for me to research. It's fun for me to look at these things. So we've already been talking and thinking about next year. There's going to be lots of BJU. We love it. It works well for us. And part of me is like, Tiffany, just stick to it across all subjects because you know that it works well. But then there's part of me that's like, I can see little bits here and there where I think if I could change that up a little bit, or even just give them something new to look at, they might benefit from it in this subject or that subject. there will be lots of BJU next year, but I'm thinking about adding in some other things as well. I've used knot grass history before, and it worked great for us. And I'm thinking about that. That will probably be one of the subjects that we change up next year is our history. And I'm thinking about going back to knot grass. Not that I don't love BJU's heritage studies is what they call it, but that knot grass, it's just something a little bit different. It's taught a little bit different. The way you do your work is a little bit different, and I think it would be nice just for the sake of change and because we know that we really enjoy it, doing another knot grass history next year, and because I really want to teach and dive into the 50 states, the 50 United States, and do a dedicated study to the states. And knot grass offers that. That's one of the biggest reasons why I'm considering that, is because that's something that I really want to teach this coming up year, is doing dedicated study to the 50 states. And that's something that knot grass offers. So that may be something that we see in the next year, for the next school year. One of those things that I'm already thinking about. Isn't it fun, y'all? Isn't it fun to teach your children? Isn't it fun to get to see them learn? Isn't it fun to learn right alongside them? Our school year is going great. I've showed you some of the things we're using, talked to you about what's working for us and how we're doing some things. But let me just say, it's going great. I feel good about it. I feel good about where we are at this point in the school year. I feel good about what my children are learning. I feel good about how our school days are going. Does that mean every day is easy? Absolutely not. Does that mean there's some days, there's not ever any days where people are like, oh, I don't want to do this today. And there absolutely is. But for the most part, we're excited about what we're using. For the most part, our days are going good. We're spending time together. We're learning together, and we're having a good time doing it. And I can see the fruits of the labor. I can see my children blooming and blossoming through what they're learning. I can see them retaining the knowledge. And as their teacher, as their mama, as the one that's teaching it to them, that makes you feel good when you see them getting it. They get it. And that's really nice. It's really rewarding to see. So there you have it. That's what we're using. That's how things are going. Let me know, what are you using this year and what's working best for you? And what's your favorite subject? What's your favorite subject that you're doing this year? Surprisingly, math has been one of our favorites this year. In the past, it's been, especially for some of my kids, it's not been their favorite. This is one of those years where things are clicking, and math has been a really good subject for us. I love you. I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.